All right, so once you create a new file, the next step is for you to locate a reference for the American flag. You can look for your own, or if you want to use the resource that I provided on Canvas. So once you have that found, similar in a similar way that we did with Photoshop, where you go on Google or any search engine and find a large image of your resource. In this case, we're going to use the American flag as our resource. And once you find it, drag it to your desktop. And then from the desktop, now I'm going to drag this on top of my new file. So it should look like this. So this is very similar to Photoshop. It's all the functions. So now this is in transform or free transform mode, so you can change the size and dimensions of this as well as the placement. Now the big difference probably that you'll notice is that the proportions isn't locked in Illustrator. So to fix this, while your mouse and or your trackpad is engaged, like right now, you can hold shift, and then once you hold shift, it automatically resizes your image into its correct proportions. And you want to be doing this all the time, just so you prevent looking like an amateur. So every time I resize it, and I'm gonna Command Z, every time I resize it, make sure that I'm holding shift so that my end result, my image doesn't look like this or doesn't look like this. So making sure that it's constrained, you've constrained its proportions, okay? So once you're done with this, you can just click outside of the image so you don't select it. Now in terms of the basics here, so over here in the move tool, or I'm sorry, over here in the toolbar, this black arrow right here is going to be your move tool. So you could click on an image. This is our flag reference, and you can move this around, and you could also resize it like how we resized earlier. That's my dog. And then the white arrow will allow you to pick anchor points, and we'll cover this later. But right now, all you are responsible for is just using this tool right here. So this is your move tool. And I'll explain the other tools, which will be move tool and the shapes tool. Just click and hold this. These will be the other tools that you guys are using. And that is it. So we're just gonna keep it simple. On the right side over here, I'm gonna go to my layers window. So right there, that's my first layer. If you don't see your layers window, go to window up top and pull out your layers window. So now here's my image. The bounding box, which is blue, corresponds to the layers color. So this layers color is blue. So if you're wondering, if you have multiple objects and if you're wondering which layer that object belongs to, you can check right here on the color coding of that layer. So I'm going to click out, and then that disengages the selection of that layer. So that's my first layer, and how you take your image and bring it into Illustrator.